Oh, for sure. And we've talked before about the freshmen, and they've been freshmen. They've acted like, a little bit inconsistent in practice, at times a little bit shocked about the pace and the urgency that you need to play with. And, I think my feelings going into the game. I was concerned about how they would respond, how they would react to a talented Rider team. Rider's a very talented team. And so I knew it was going to be a tough test. I did not imagine that they would play as well as they did. I didn't imagine we'd play as well as we did, and I didn't imagine that the score would be what it was. I thought defensively we were really good defensively. There was one help in the first half that we were late to. Elijah was late, and Novar Gadsden hit a floater on the baseline. But other than that, I'm not sure if there was another help in the first half that we didn't get to properly, or the way that we drilled on a daily basis. And all we've talked about over the last 3 days was just doing what we do in practice. Rely on the things that we do in practice and react to the game just like you do in practice, and then hopefully that'll get you into the right spot. Hopefully that'll get you, in a position where you can be successful. And not only were they really effective in terms of defensive rotations and those things, but some of the effort plays that Lucky made, some of the effort plays B. Herm made diving on the ground, Keith getting 7 rebounds. I mean, that stuff that's over and above what I expected from them. I was hoping they could go on for a 2-minute stretch, be solid, not turn it over, not get exposed, and instead they turn around and were exposing Rider at times.
Well, you had 3 of them on the floor at the same time, for significant minutes in the first half and lengthened there.
Correct.
I remember.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's when B. Herm hit 2 threes. I think Lucky had a put back in that stretch, and the more that they can handle, the more we're going to throw at them. And so, would I have envisioned Lawrence and Elijah having 3 fouls in the first half and having those guys play the stretch that they did? Probably not. But fortunately, they were capable of handling that load and, helping us build a lead. And actually, I think too, even in the second half, when some of those guys came in the game to start the second half, our initial group didn't do a great job for the first 4 minutes, and all of a sudden we kind of subbed a little bit, and our energy picked back up to where it needs to be, and that's what those guys are going to need to do.
Defensively, you seem to really have them out of sorts in the first half. Was it anything besides getting over on helps like you mentioned, or was there something else the guys were doing?
You know what, I think we just followed our defensive formula, and it's what we work on every day. We knew that, Gadsden and Penn and Jones and Miles, those guys are really good perimeter scorers. They're aggressive perimeter scorers. They're extremely talented. And so we told our guys they have to be on high alert. They got to close out, be on high alert at all times. You can never relax. You can never take a break, because if you do, those guys are going to expose you. And I think, clearly for the first 20 minutes, they were on extreme high alert. So, I thought we had good ball pressure. When we did get beat, we got beat to places that we want to get beat, and so we were able to help and rotate and do the things we needed to do. And I thought our help in the gaps, when guys would try and drive, our help in the gap was there time after time after time, and it created a lot of turnovers for Rider. So overall, that's what we'd like to do on a daily basis. It just doesn't always happen that way.
When the second half started and they came out and scored 10 quick points, you didn't call a timeout, you didn't do much other than let your kids play. Were you giving them a message, or was that something that you would normally do?
Well, you know what, I think well, we're not always in that situation,
No,
so I don't have a lot of
situation.
experience in that situation. But I mean, basketball's a game of runs at times, and so they're good players. They're going to make some shots, but continue to do what we do, continue to follow our formula, and now all of a sudden, we were able to build that lead back up again. I thought it was a great sign that they score the first 10, we score the next 6, and then all of a sudden it was like the wind came out of their sails. And then all of a sudden it was our game to kind of just continue to let the clock run down. And I was proud of the guys, the way that they kind of handled that situation. Maybe other coaches would have called timeout and jumped up and down and yelled and screamed, but the players got to make plays on the floor, and so that was what I wanted to have happen at that point in time, and that's kind of the way it worked out, thankfully. If we would have lost the lead, Paul would be in here yelling at me, but...
No, that's horseshit. You'd be down there yelling at them.
Yeah, you're right.
Now.
It definitely wouldn't be my fault.
Do you think LaRussa would have called a timeout?
Depends if his hard line to the bullpen would have been solid enough.
Hey, talk about, Lucky, just Lucky in particular. That's a hell of a performance in the first game.
Yeah, incredible performance. And, he was even saying to me at the end of the game that he would like to finish some of those layups that he missed. I said, we'll take the 13 rebounds and we'll work on the missed shots. That was what Lucky has always done. That's how he's played. He's been a guy that we want to have in our program. Those are the kind of kids we want to have in our program that, are willing to make that extra effort, make the hustle play, keep a ball alive, crash the glass, never stop and be relentless. And that's exactly what he did today. We know that Lucky's talented. We just like him to continue to make the plays like he did tonight, and then also defend the way we defend and execute the way we execute. And if he does that, he has a chance to have a really good career.
Do you keep a stat on points off loose balls, or rebounds that a guy keeps alive that leads to points?
We don't necessarily, but they're certainly acknowledged when they happen because those are extraordinary plays. In practice, we give effort points. So if we're in a drill and you make a great effort play, your team can get rewarded with points. And likewise, if you make a poor effort play, if you stop on a ball or you don't dive or something like that, we'll take points away. Even if it doesn't hurt your team, it hurts your team, just because you didn't make the effort to go get that thing. And so hopefully that's kind of instilled maybe a little of that relentlessness in there.
So the answer is no, you don't.
Correct.
That's the answer to the question, really.
Thank you, Paul. Next.
And Karan's performance,
Yeah, can you have a quiet 28? You know what I mean? Like he just made open shots. He just continued to move. He made open shots. His teammates found him. His teammates have such confidence in his shooting ability. It's incredible. And, he just made open shots, and it was incredible. But what allows him to do that, I think, is his improvement defensively has been so amazing that it allows him to play his offensive game the way he does. He used to, I think, at the start of last year, he was so worried about playing defense and getting in the right spots because it wasn't instinctive to him that he didn't let his offensive game go the way that he should have. And then once he kind of got comfortable, I think defensively, that's when his offense exploded because he shoots it as well as anybody that I've seen in a long time.
do you think that he knows now that if he gets 20 or 25 that you can give a shit about his defense, and maybe that's why he's more relaxed?
No, I'm always going to care about his defense.